I honestly don't know if this video will reach anyone, or if anyone will even watch it, but I am a trader, a digital merchant, and today I need to tell my own story. I see things on social media that genuinely make me sad because there is so much misinformation out there. I want to tell you the truth, the mistakes, the reality, as someone who is actually in the kitchen of this business. Most people have jobs they go to or businesses they own. My job is what you see in this office, watching these data screens and trading. This is how I earn my bread. But there is a very different background behind this. For me, this story started in 2012. Those who know. It was the era of the Forex boom. Ads for Forex companies were everywhere. Back then, there was no regulation or auditing. You'd log into Facebook, which we all used at the time, and boom, Forex ads right in your face. At that time, I owned a computer company. Just like everyone else, these ads appeared before me too. The appealing part was this. You click a button and you make $500, $1,000. At least that's what the ads claimed. There was no one to answer to. Predict the direction, manage your risk, and the money comes. So like hundreds of thousands of others who saw these ads, I said, let me get into this business. The thought was, I'll put in $1,000, and even if I know nothing, I'll probably make $100 a day. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Of course, it didn't happen like that. They made me open a demo account. A representative on the phone tells you what to do. You do it, and instantly you see money. On the demo account, of course. Later, when I deposited real money, I learned that doing something on a demo account and doing it with real money are two very different things. For example, you can't sit still when you're in profit, but when you're in a loss, you just sit and wait. It didn't take long, maybe a month, maybe less, and I lost my first $10,000. This became a wound for me. People who grew up experiencing the depths of poverty, like I did, will understand me. You live your whole life with the fear of falling back down. I thought, there must be a way to learn this business. By the way, there really is no school for this. Studying economics is one thing. Being a trader is something completely different. A trader already has to master most of the economics terminology, but there are many other factors involved. Anyway, I started researching. I was reading every source I could find. Thanks to my language skills, I didn't have trouble with foreign sources either. I researched comfortably, constantly taking notes. Then, I started again with a smaller amount. The situation changed a bit, but the finale remained the same. The process just got longer. Normally, I had lost the other money in a month. This time, it took 3 months. I was making money in between, but the end result didn't change. Either it would hit my stop loss and turn around, or I would buy spot goods and the price would immediately start falling. The profit was not consistent, but the loss was very consistent. Of course, I became obsessed with this. Losses were increasing and time was passing. Roughly 3 years went by like this. The year became 2015. I noticed something. Over time, it seemed like the periods of loss and gain were starting to equalize. I would make $5,000 in the first 2 months and then lose another $5,000 in the next 2 months. Man, you read, you research, you do tests, but actually the knowledge you gain is theoretical, subjective knowledge. It can vary from person to person, but the problem is here. The people we get this information from are not professional traders either. Who do we get this info from? Either from people like yourself trying to learn and create strategies, or from content creators trying to make money by producing content. Actually, what I wanted most in those years was to meet a professional trader and get information from them. Because obviously there are other factors in this business that no one talks about or knows about. And getting information from the kitchen, from the source, is a different thing. Because all the information we acquire is actually theoretical. Also, especially content creators always talk about their wins. Man, tell us about your losses too. Tell us so that others don't make that mistake. At this point, I couldn't find anyone to look up to. I had to research myself, develop strategies myself, and improve myself. This meant money and time. There were intermediate periods where I won. Then a period would come where I lost it all at once. Another 2 years passed like that. The year became 2017. I now had 5 years of experience in knowledge accumulation in the market. From global liquidity to correlations, I knew almost everything about how the market works in practice. But the problem was this: the success I achieved in backtests was crawling on the floor when I moved to reality. In 2017, I did something. I developed a strategy of my own based on simple technical analysis. I deposited $5,000 into my account again, and for about 6 months, I made money regularly and consistently. That $5,000 reached about $20,000. At first, with the self-confidence of this, guess what I did? I had given years of work to buy the Mercedes of my dreams, and I had the audacity to sell that car and deposit about $50,000 more into the stock market. I think that was the biggest lesson of my life. Think about it. You have a business, you're making money, but you're obsessed with succeeding in this. I look back now with my current mindset. I thought I could easily turn that $50,000 into $200,000. But there was one thing I didn't calculate. $5,000 wasn't money that could affect me much. I was already earning that from my own business. But $50,000, that was good money. Up until that day, in 5 years, I had already lost $60,000 or $70,000 like that. This time, I planned to recover my 5-year loss in one go and move into profit. That was the calculation. Let me tell you what happened. You know how I was trading comfortably with that $5,000? When that money became $50,000, that comfort disappeared. The psychological pressure increased tenfold. I started compromising on the strategy. I started compromising on stop losses. I was supposed to quadruple the money in 6 months. Instead, exactly the opposite happened. I zeroed the money in 6 months. By the way, don't think of it like I put in $50,000 and it started zeroing out immediately. I won, I lost. I won, I lost. As the psychological pressure increased, I started compromising on my strategy. I gave up on life. Years of effort, labor. The point we reached was bankrupting all my savings in a ridiculous way. My only consolation was this: I didn't owe anyone money, but regardless, it was a large sum. I calculated my total losses. Since the first day I started, I had lost nearly $120,000. Even today, that is the price of an average house. Then I said, damn it. But as I said before, this business had become an issue beyond money. My first priority here was success. I was asking myself, friend, how do those who do this business actually do it? But then, according to the research I did, I learned that 97% of people who enter the Forex market lose money regularly. And I learned this from the source. You know those loss-gain ratios you see when entering sites? That is information obtained with a different math that has nothing to do with reality. Look, the year is 2025. This ratio is still almost the same. So the winners are actually 3%. Who are they? Insider traders. Those who get information from the inside. Those who take counter positions, market maker accounts, and professional traders. So actually, the number of normal people who really win does not exceed 1%. After this huge loss I experienced in 2017, naturally, I couldn't recover for 6 months. I did some work, gathered myself, etc., and decided to start again. This time, I'm looking at the statistics I kept in the past. I'm looking at my own backtests, my own analyses. I'm looking for my mistakes. On the other hand, I'm working on current sources, strategies, indicators. I'm reading books at the same time. Months went by without making a trade. We reached the year 2018. It's been 6 years. After 6 years of market experience, a quote from Einstein got stuck in my head. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The problem wasn't actually the strategies. The problem was perceiving the system itself. Entering 2018, this was the thing that occupied my mind the most. My back tests were successful. I could even say this: with the knowledge I gained about market dynamics and the reasons for my failures and successes, I could have written a book more useful than many I had read until that day. Actually, even if strategies change, these are always micro changes. I realized that what I needed to do here was to change my perspective. Now I ask, do you know what money really is? Or do you know how the stock market works, the production cycle, and capitalism? Until that day, I had always read books on strategies and success. This time I started doing research and reading on the system itself. I set out to learn about money, capitalism, and the business cycle. In the final analysis, do you know what struck my brain like lightning? Actually, the place we call the stock market is the recycling mechanism of capitalism. I am underlining this again. The stock market is the recycling mechanism of capitalism. As you go deeper, you start to see shocking truths. You understand why the majority, even 95% of people, have to lose their money. You understand why the mechanism we call the market maker exists and what it does. You understand why money has to return to the system. Anyway, when I learned these, I was truly shocked. I couldn't get over the effect for a while, and when you think about it, the whole logic settled. I had actually always focused on strategies and numbers. When I perceived the big picture, my perspective changed. Then let me tell you what happened. Once I settled all this information in my head, I decided to start again. But I wasn't like before anymore. The excitement present when I first entered the market was gone. There was a calmness. This could be due to age, mastering the knowledge, or experience. And I started again. By the way, I started trading not in one market, but in 3 markets at once. Because now I know the correlations between them. I know how the system works. I know why the price of a commodity should rise or fall. The important thing is timing. In the meantime, I also learned investing. A trader and an investor are very different people. I will explain this. This time I made an investment of $20,000 and loaded $5,000 into my trading accounts. After a period of roughly close to 1 year, my $20,000 investment account reached $130,000, and my $5,000 trading balance went up to around $35,000. You might ask, what did you do differently? I did everything differently. Like I said, my perspective changed completely. When we reached the second half of 2019, my accounts had now exceeded $200,000. I can even say this, I started earning much more from here than I earned from my own business. Afterward, people who knew me started asking for consultancy. Eventually, I sold the company completely and decided to become a full-time trader. Whether it's the S&P 500, NASDAQ, or crypto, it doesn't matter. I say this without exaggeration. 99% of the people who come here came hearing success stories during a bull run. The markets know what kind of reactions people will give in which situation. That mechanism we call the market maker exists exactly for this reason. Those who go fishing know, when you are going to fish from the pier, the first thing you do is feed the sea. The logic here is the same. For example, the number of people who have entered the markets and haven't seen profit is very few. The person who went to the pier to fish is exactly what the market maker is. At the point I've reached today, I have been in the markets for about 13 years. 8 years of this passed with painful losses, experience, and education. For 5 years, I have been earning my bread in these markets. At the same time, I have been giving private consultancy to investors for years. There is so much information about the markets that no one explains or knows. I wish someone had told me these things in those years, the years I first started, so that I wouldn't have lost money for 8 years, nor would I have needed to suffer so much pain. Actually, that's why I'm shooting this video. If you really want to make money in the markets, you have to learn the unseen, unknown, and unspoken sides of it too, or else the markets will teach you through painful experiences, just as they taught me. Everyone needs to know this. There really is a possibility of gain in the markets. There is even a possibility of becoming wealthy with enough time. In fact, the stock market might even be the best mechanism where this is possible. If there is an audience that stumbles upon this video and wants to learn, I want to explain everything step by step. Thanks for listening.